Dear students, today I am going to discuss on concurrency. Concurrency means if we repeat the certain activities at the same instant or at the same time, that is termed as concurrency. That means, say for example, a person is calling another person, and at the same time the third person is also calling the second person at the same instant. So this is a situation of a concurrent. Under this circumstance, when the person 1 is calling, the call of the person 3 cannot be routed to call person 2 if the call of the first person is being received by the recipient or the caller to receive that calls. So under these particular situations, the concurrent behavior exists, and in a real-time situations, we see many of the processes occurs and or it runs in the concurrent modes. I can put this particular concurrency in a still easy manner by creating a comparisons between the concurrency as well as the parallelisms. Let us use another terms which it will be easy for us to discuss over this particular terminology, like a word parallelism. If you see this particular terminology and compare with the concurrency, parallelism is also more or less like a concurrency, but the thing is that let us take a situation that a person, he is a singer, he sings the songs, and at the same time he even dance also. So this is possible by the same person. He sings as well as he dances. So under these particular situations, this is known as parallelism. But in a concurrency, that situation is not there. That means here two things can happen simultaneously, but here two things cannot happen at the same time. Or I can put it like this one. Concurrency means it is the act of managing and running more than one act at the same time. Now you have to understand that here a particular term we have used is nothing but a word like a same time. Now in the case of a parallelisms, we put it that it is the act of running multiple jobs simultaneously. Now here what you find the difference is that simultaneously. So the simultaneously is one side and the same time is the another one. So concurrency is related to the same time and parallelism is related to the simultaneously. So this, for a very easy understanding, these are the two examples which is related to the parallelism and concurrency. Let's see how you make a comparisons between this concurrency and parallelisms. So I take a case with respect to the first case with respect to the parallelisms. Another is with respect to concurrency. Now let us see how these two is distinguished or differentiate among each other. Now, in the case of parallelisms, you can have more than one task at a time. So you can put it as more than one task can be executed. Because like the case of these examples. Now, in this particular scenario, what happens is that it can perform like a parallelisms, but one task can perform at a time. So here more than one task, no? One task can perform at a time. At a time. Here more than one task. That is the one important things. The second part, let's see this one, is that now in the case of a parallelisms, since it is more than one task, we need a multi-processor to compute the task. Whereas in the case of concurrency, even if it is a multiprocessor or a single processor, basically we make a comparison with a single processor. So single processor compute the task in a interleave. That means after n equal, or I can put it as one interval after another. So after one task after another in these particular cases. The third is this one, is that in the case of parallelisms, the situations with respect to the case of stucking. Stucking, we can use a word like the system is not held up, or a system is not having a deadlock. Deadlock situations is less. Whereas in this situations, deadlock may occur if next process or task interfere in between. Deadlock may occur if the now another very important one terminology in this particular situations of the parallelism and concurrency is with respect to terms which we treat in terms of the situation is this one, is that when one process is running and another process is interrupting in the middle, then the process will try to look for the critical time. So that is what a critical time is less important. Now in this case, critical time is important. What is in a critical time? Say for example, a process is running, one process, say this is one process P1, and another process P2 is running. So unless during this particular phase, the second process or another process cannot come in between. So this particular terminology is what we termed as a critical time. So under this critical regions, because this is a critical region, we say that this is the entry region. This is we term this particular thing as an entry region, entry region, and this particular thing is known as a we can put this one is as a leave entry and leave region. So this entry to leave region, so this particular thing is known as a critical region, entry critical region, leave critical region. So this critical region is less important in parallelism, whereas in the concurrency critical region is very important. Thank you.